differential and everything like that?
Just like I said, when we got to the point, we didn't know we were going to be in that position to start the game. And so when we got to that point, I felt like it was time to, execute and put ourselves in position to advance into the tournament. And so going into a game, you can't think those things. You do have to be prepared for them. And so once you're in that situation, you have to be ready to go to it. And so I thought our process, the last 8 minutes of the fourth quarter, did the best we could at putting us in position to advance.
With the conversations like on the bench, were guys telling you scores in other places, or players on the bench kind of talking to each other about it?
I don't know. I wasn't standing next to them, but I did ask them if they, we were ready to go for the win, and they all said yes. And so we did what we had to do to execute and try to build on the lead.
Joe, what went into? Was this a new line of thinking? Like you like to challenge yourself. You like to think the game. Was this something that really got you going when it got into?
Once it got to that, and you started playing the
that
math game, and like your possessions were like 0.0 points per possession because they missed 2 free throws. Like that stuff gets me excited. Like low points per possession on defense, the process towards winning, finding small ways to try and win. Those things are cool. And so like, it's not that I don't think the in-season tournament's fun or it's important, but there's a process. Like you go back to the Orlando game, like. Are we going to rebound just because it's an in-season tournament game? Like, I don't want our guys to have that type of mindset or that type of environment. We have to rebound every single game. And so if we truly care about winning in the process towards winning, we'll do it in a preseason game, in an in-season tournament game, a regular season game. And so, like, that's the mindset that you have to create. So, like, did we just not decide to rebound against Orlando or not play hard in a third quarter because it was an in-season tournament game? No, it's because of habits and a mindset, and we have to keep those things going all the time.
Did you tell yourself, like, Joe, this isn't important, then suddenly it became important, or were you not telling us the truth? Like, what went from
It's a process. Like, it's a process. So I took in all the information, and I didn't handle it emotionally, and I sat it and stored it in whatever part of my brain that stores information, and I waited to see if I was going to need it or not. And so, like, I don't know going into a game that we're going to be up 23. We could be down 15 because that's a distraction because we're trying to be up 23. And then you're going to be like, was your team distracted by the 23-point lead? And I'm going to have to be like, no, Gary, they weren't, when they really were. And so, like, you have to eliminate distractions and focus on winning in the process towards winning. And so that's the most important thing. And so our team was focused on winning. And then and what I love about our team is we've sucked in the third quarter, and we didn't today. And then they call a timeout at 7 minutes to go, and we go on another run. And so we were able to build mental resilience while having a lead. And then we did it again at the start of the fourth quarter. And so, like, that pocket of the game is super important for the longevity of our team because we have to be better at playing with leads and playing when the game is technically when we think it's over. And so, like, that part is important. And then so when the process brings you to, okay, you're at 30, what do you want to do? I want to get stops. So then you do what we did, and I apologize to Andre Drummond for doing that. But it gave us the best chance considering the circumstances we were in.
Joe, well, I mean, it's official because Brooklyn won, so you guys have advanced, so I guess congratulations on that.
So without worrying about it, we advanced. Think about what the process does. Look at that. Process over results.
What was the conversation you were having with Billy Donovan there at the half?
It was just it wasn't necessarily a miscommunication, but we had a guy on our staff sitting near the bench once I told him don't talk to me until at the point where it's necessary. And so once it got to 30 at the start of the fourth, we started communicating on what the Brooklyn game was going and what the deficit was. And so when I started to hack a Drummond, Billy thought we had to win by 22, but he didn't know the ramifications of what was going on in the Brooklyn-Toronto game. And so I just had to explain to him, this is what our people are telling us. This is what we have to do. This is the process towards protecting our lead. It gives us the best chance to win in advance. And so credit to him for understanding that.
How weird is it to be in this situation? I mean, normally you just go up, you win, you build a lead and you win. And you're having a conversation with a coach in the middle of the game about why you're winning by so much. I mean, how weird is that for you?
I mean, it's only weird because it's new. Like, to me, it's just weird because it's new. It's different. 5, 6 years. Like, you go back, like, I truly love watching the European tournaments and the style that they have. And so, like, 5, 6 years from now, this is going to be, like, just normal. And so it's only weird because it's new and people have to get used to that. And so, but you have to be able to do both. Because it's new, you can't be distracted by it to where you lose games because you're worried about point differential. Like, you still have to win the game and do all the little things that take it. So it's both. So it's just weird because it's new. But you see other leagues around the world do it, and I love watching it. So I know 3, 4, 5 years from now, if I'm still in this thing, we'll be happy to be a part of it. It's just people have to get used to it, But most important thing for me is protecting our players' mindset, not getting distracted towards, a point differential where it's like we have to build habits and a mindset all the time. And we advanced without talking about it.
Joe, a question about Drew's defense. One of the first plays of the game, I think White was trailing DeRozan over a screen, kind of lost him, and Drew just switched on to DeRozan.
Yeah.
DeRozan seemed to have no idea what to do with that. White even looked confused. Seems like Drew is kind of getting the confidence to just make all sorts of random plays that people don't see coming on defense. So how do you feel like he's doing with that, and how the rest of the team is learning how to play with them?
The last 2 games, I felt like a true connectivity on our defensive end, and so the key to our defense is everybody has to like defense. You can't have a good defense unless people like playing defense, and so starting from the top, all of our players like defense and know it's important, and they care about it. Our best players care about defense, and they're all a Swiss Army knife because they all can guard different positions. And so tonight it was Drew's turn to we didn't start him on Vucevic, we didn't start him on DeRozan, we didn't make him do that. We kind of put him on another player to where he could be a free safety and go make plays and raise hell in our shift activity. And so he kind of tonight was the catalyst towards our weak side defense because of his activity and his ability to not have to worry about an all-star, but be able to just kind of roam and play free safety. And so it just adds a layer to our defense, but it starts with the buy-in from our team.
Joe, you spoke about the importance of habit building. How does having an in-season elimination tournament affect that?
Emotional habits. It affects your emotional habits. But it builds opportunity. And so once I knew the point differential, I told the team this is a good opportunity for us to work on playing with the lead and building on it because we want to try to win as much as we can. So let's, for the next 4 minutes, try to go on a run here, whereas if it was a regular game, we would already have taken them out and they wouldn't play. And so it's a small opportunity for us to build some just mental resilience, and it's can we find a pocket of a game to can we just play hard because it's the cool thing to do, even though you're up 30.
Obviously, it's still the regular season, but do you think it could be an opportunity to prep for the longer run that you guys hope to have in the postseason?
From a media, from a attention standpoint, yes, but nothing can simulate what the playoffs are like. And so it gives you an opportunity to win at something, but quite honestly, I'd rather win at, you live in Boston and it's a Tuesday afternoon, it's raining and no one wants to go to work, but we still have to go practice. I want to win that day just as much as I want to win the in-season tournament.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Kind of along the lines of that fourth quarter, I know you trust all your guys and believe you come in with anybody, but there's a reason you left Jason and Jalen in as long as you did. Mm-hmm. At the same time, there was a point you took them out with 2 minutes left, and then they cut it, I think, to 25, which is kind of right on the edge. What led you to that process?
I felt like we did the best we could at trying to build it, and I was and once I saw Jalen dive on a loose ball, I was I saw enough. We don't need people getting hurt. And then I also like that we kind of put in that speed lineup of Peyton's Fee, Sam, and Delano to where maybe we can get a turnover for a transition. Maybe we can go on a 6-0-1 with a couple threes, Luke's offensive rebound. So I just wanted to change up. One, I felt like our guys did the best they could, and that was enough. And then I liked the second lineup of can we go on a run here with, just our second unit.
You talked about the third quarter, finally having a productive one here. How important was being able to string together stops and force turnovers to making it easier to play up-tempo and maintain the pace that kept you guys in rhythm?
I mean, that's the key, right? You can call it what you want, but at the end of the day, there's times when human nature comes in and you get bored and you start to deteriorate from your habits, or you take your execution for granted or your shots for granted. Tonight, we didn't do that, so we have to find a way to capitalize on that. When you're up 30, fighting over the screen is just as important as if it's a tie game on an ESPN game and stuff like that. So all those little habits are teaching points that we have to try to get to. That it's easy to say that human nature doesn't kick in, but it does. And so for that stretch tonight, we just kept playing. And so we gotta really, that was a win for us.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks.